Hi, everyone. How are you tonight? It's me, Marv. All alone here, just me. Hey, Frank's in the chat, though. So, as many of you know, I live in Wisconsin. Hey, Andrea, how you doing? Hey, bud. Ash D's in the house. Roxana's with us. Jill. Welcome, everybody. So, Heather Marie's popping in. We got some others coming in. Good to see you, bud. Thank you, Heather. Hello, Pam. Hello. So glad you all can join me. Andrew says, busy printing lots of Christmas tumblers. I bet you are. It's that time of year for you. Definitely that time of year. So I just want to say hello and welcome. Good to see everybody tonight. As you all know, I am from Wisconsin, and this trial has had my attention for 3 weeks. Been watching this trial. State of Wisconsin versus Darrell Brooks. All I can say is that this happened 3 hours south of me. And so it's a good distance. It's pretty much on the other side of Wisconsin, down at the bottom. Hey, Stacy, how you doing? So people would think, oh, it just affects that area, the area of Waukesha. Well, I can tell you it affected my family being 3 hours north. So both of my kids are in marching band, and one of the competitions that they do every year is in Waukesha. Waukesha hosts the competition. So other schools from around the state go to Waukesha and compete with each other, get ready for state. So when this happened, this affected both of my kids, my daughter especially, because she had been there more at the time, and now my son. So if you look, do you know where Wausau is? Like smack dab in the middle of the state, pretty much, or actually up a little bit. I'm a half an hour north of there. Hey, Grizz, how you doing? Vanessa, how are you? So this was the fastest trial I have seen in Wisconsin. I mean, the 1 year anniversary has not even happened, and we already have a verdict. It's amazing. I'm glad that it went fast. I'm glad that we got the outcome we did. I have to say thank you to Darrell Brooks for representing himself. So I feel that if he had a decent attorney, his attorney could have gotten these charges reduced a little bit as far as getting charges of not having intent. So, thank you, bud. I'm definitely feeling better. Had a little bit of stomach bug or flu that my husband brought home to me again. Heather, Green Bay is a little over an hour away from me. So, as I was saying, this is crazy because this happened on November 21st of 2021. this town with a population of, I don't know, 71, what do they say, 71,246 were enjoying getting ready for Christmas and having their Christmas parade. The kids from the high school marching band were in the parade. The marching grannies were in the parade. There was a lot of people in that parade. When Darrell Brooks decided to drive his SUV down the parade route and hit children, adults, it's crazy. And from what I've heard, when he first entered that parade route, he could have turned on a different street and missed all of those people, or many of them, I should say. Maybe not the ones right in the beginning, but the majority of them he could have missed. Aspen says, I've been to Waukesha when I lived in Wisconsin, and it's cute downtown. It is. It is. So, when he said that he wanted to defend himself, a part of me was like, yes. It's sad to say, but I thought, he doesn't know the law. He thinks he knows the law, but he doesn't know the law. So for us, I guess that was a plus. Because like I said, if he had a decent attorney, they could have got additional charges put on the docket for not intending. No intention. Whereas he was convicted of 76 counts of intending to hit these individuals, which was correct. You can't tell me that you're going to go down a few blocks of a street and not know that you're hitting people, especially when it came out that two of the victims stayed on the hood of his SUV for a good amount of time. And yes, Freckled Joy, you bring up a good point. So yesterday, after the jury went to deliberate, it was announced that a Reddit post was put on there in support of him, which he seemed astonished that anybody supported him. But the main thing about that is it said that it was one of the jurors that was posting this, which anybody could say they were a juror, which I believe today they did find out that was false. It was not a juror that posted it. But like Freckled Joy said, it could have been a family member or, somebody that just did support him. It's crazy. So, yeah, I don't understand times 100 times exactly. So, I don't know how many of you have actually been following this case. Put a 1 in the chat if you've been following the trial. That's funny, Aspen. No, not everything on the internet or Reddit is true. So let's see. Pam's following it. True Crime with Shannon's been following it. Bud says, I'm glad this case is over. Yes, it was very hard to watch. Freckled Joy says, I watched the whole damn thing. Yup. Aspen watched it. Polly watched it. Charismatically watched it. So yeah. And if you didn't watch it, This man was very belligerent to the judge. He was very defiant to the judge and the prosecutor. Um, he did not want to be called Darrell Brooks. I don't know what name they were supposed to use for him. Did anybody that watched the trial figure that out? What were they supposed to refer to him as? Because every time they said the name Darrell Brooks, he went on this rant about how he didn't give them permission to use that name. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Oh, my shirt. My shirt says, justice is not impossible. It just takes a little longer. Yeah. Were they supposed to call him the murderer, the offender? You know? Yeah, I know. He did not answer her a lot of times when she asked him questions. That's how he got into the predicament of resting his case and not testifying. Um, I don't know how this female judge sat on that bench day after day and got belittled by him. I mean, she actually left the bench because she ruled against one of his motions and he slammed his fist on the desk and stared her down. I have a video of it. We'll watch it. Yeah. I don't I guess I don't understand the whole sovereign citizen thing. I know that they don't believe that they have to follow any of the rules and whatever, but I guess it gets into that more and more. He was a third party representing Mr. Brooks. How does that work? How does that work? He was mad they spelled his name in all caps. I missed that. And yes, he threw tantrums and did his little antics where he took the boxes that he was given with all of his information and built a tower in front of him and hid from the judge to where she made the bailiffs go in and remove the boxes away from him. I mean, this is the kind of stuff he did. It was crazy. Yes, Aspen, that judge was incredible. Those had to have been the longest days of her life. And I think she did an amazing job. She covered everything, made sure that all of his antics, he would interrupt her constantly. All of that was on the record. I mean, she covered her bases with him and she had to. Freckled Joy says she deserves an award. Yeah, she was an angel, that's for sure. But she's pregnant? I didn't know that. Wow, all that extra stress on her. I give her kudos. I think believe me, she lost it a few times herself. She got short with him and I would have too. I guess I would have done a lot more and said a lot more and got myself in trouble. But I think she did really good. He's toast when he goes to prison. Oh yeah. No, bud, I do not think he has anything to do with Delphi or Evansdale. Yep. He built a box for it. There was one child that was killed in this. The rest were adults. but there were a lot of kids that were hurt. So the marching band for Waukesha High School, a lot of many of their band members were injured. A lot of their equipment, their instruments, their sound equipment all got destroyed. So we sent out donations to them right away to help. Um, and a lot of people sent donations, which I'm thankful for, because these bands, and I don't know how it is in other states, Indiana, in other states, but these bands, they go through a band season. They start in the summer. These kids are standing on pavement here in the heat in the middle of summer, and that's when they're learning their music, and that's when they're learning to march and everything. And they do that all summer long. Mondays and Thursdays here, and then they have weeks. They go all week. They have fundamental camps, and they go for the whole week. They even have a sleepover so that they can prepare for that first competition. So they're not funded very much. The band programs do not get a lot of funding. They're, they have a bare minimum amount that they are allowed to use. So to lose that many instruments, have uniforms destroyed, things like that, that was huge. That could have put that band out had they not gotten all of those donations. And knowing that my kids, especially my daughter, associated with these kids that were injured, it was heartbreaking. It was just heartbreaking. They should have. So, did you hear that today? The last thing he said when the jury walked in to give the verdict was, "Can they take the shock devices off?" Hell no. Not with the way you've been. I'm glad she didn't even say anything to him. She didn't respond to him at all. I agree with you, Bud. I think he would have been completely different had it been a male judge. It just showed his disdain and everything for women. I think you are right on about that. Yeah, he was. He did a lot of things to her as a female. Did you hear the comment also about his mom? So last week, they're like, well, if you want your mom to testify, whatever, fill out your form so that she can come testify. And he absolutely said, if I tell her to be here, she'll be here. Oh, really? So, I'm like, I could not believe that. Yeah. Watching him try to abuse his baby mama on the stand was very hard. And then watching these victims having to answer his stupid questions, I don't know how any of them got through it. I will have to say, his ex-girlfriend did give him some attitude back, and I was happy she did. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. And you got to remember that part of the verdict today, the charges, were hit and run on her. So he is now been found guilty of that and bail jumping also. And he flat out said in his closing, and let's talk about the closing statement yesterday, because he was able to present 9 witnesses for the defense. And then he got unruly, and she made him rest the defense because of his conduct. She is absolutely allowed to do that because he was representing himself. So that meant he couldn't put in any evidence. He couldn't call any more witnesses. He couldn't testify himself, and oh my gosh, it was a nightmare. And to get through the closing statements, the prosecution team actually came up with a plan that the judge agreed with, because he wanted that jury to know that they could nullify the verdict, meaning just not agree with it, let him go on his merry way. He truly believed that. The judge told him over and over again he could not say anything about that. He was insistent he was going to tell them that they had the power to do this. The prosecution team came up with the plan of, let him say what he's going to say, we'll object, you can strike it from the record, and hopefully he'll move on. Well, that's exactly what happened. He started talking about jury nullification, and they objected. The judge sustained it. He talked, I don't know, 10, 15 more seconds, but he gave up and he moved on. And I think that's one of the best plans they had for him. They came up for him, because otherwise it would have gotten a lot worse. And in his closing, he said he has no remorse. His conscience is clean. I think today, after those verdicts were read, he's thinking differently. Mystery Christie says he may not even go into Gen Pop. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see, because if he goes in there, who knows what they'll do to him down there. It was the same in Illinois. Yep. He wrote a letter to his mom about 3 weeks ago telling her that everyone was picking on him in jail. Yeah. Hi, Stephanie. How are you? We do need more judges like her. Hold your ground. I agree. I think you're right, Andrea, because everybody was worried about how he was going to react when that verdict was read. So they got to the second count, and as soon as they said guilty, a gentleman in the gallery said, "I hope you rot in hell, you piece of blank." And the judge immediately, "That's not allowed in here. You're out of here." I gave her credit. But at the same time, that family member got to say what he wanted to say, and I'm sure he thought it was worth getting thrown out. Yeah. That was interesting. And I don't think his mom would have showed up. I really don't. She loves her son. Any mother is going to love their son till the day he dies. But as a parent, you can love your child and not respect or agree with what they're doing. Yeah, but it's bad. It's really bad in Wisconsin. I mean, these kids, they put on fundraisers and everything else just to try to get money. They have their own in Merrill, they have their own concession that they do, and the parents volunteer to run the concession to help make money for the band. Last year, the gong broke as we were loading up the truck. And how do you fix a gong? You know, the band director's a woman. It was broken. The rack was broken. They actually called my husband. My daughter called my husband and said, the gong is broken. We don't know how to fix it. He actually, on the way to the competition, when we were driving up north, stopped at a Menards or Lowe's or something and got some stuff to put this stand back together so that they could use it. It's crazy. I mean, and do we ask for that money back? Heck no. You know, yes, I thought the prosecution did an excellent job too. This had to have been extremely hard on all of them. The judge, you know, the prosecution team, the bailiffs. I mean, it's crazy. I thought about that, but but these people are heartbroken. Absolutely heartbroken. Stacy, she likes your phone. Yeah, he'll never have to worry about missing another shower day again. He's looking at consecutive life sentences. He's never getting out. He is never getting out. Yes, Bud, Aspen and Adam are the same guy. I mean, think about it. You're sitting there, this guy will not stop berating you and telling you you're a joke and everything else. And the jury, the patience of the jury, how many times did they have to leave that courtroom because of his antics and his behavior? How many hours in 3 weeks did they have to just sit in a room while that judge dealt with him? I would love to know the stats of all that because, you know, they're not working when they're doing this. When you have jury duty, you're not working, you're not making money. And to sit there and have all that time wasted for the jury because she couldn't bring him in the courtroom. And how many times did she try to bring him in the courtroom? And one or two people got in, and he was continually yelling and everything, and she had to send him right back out. I mean, it was ridiculous. His mom didn't want to lie under oath and get herself in trouble. Yep. Yeah, the family members, I mean, they played a conference after, hours after. Um, and I know that one of the gentlemen who lost his wife spoke. And then his son talked, and one of I believe it was the kids. I don't know who the younger one was. And then the mother at the end was the little boy, I believe, that died. It was his mom. Crazy glue fixes everything. Not this. Crazy glue was not fixing this gong stand. We had to get clamps and ties, and it did not look pretty, but it worked. Yes, the families got the justice they deserved. Yeah, and he did. He made it easy. The judge was more than fair to him, yes. I'm laughing at Frank's. He was at, yes. Come, and the worst part is there were times during that trial that he actually was doing a good job. He was making good points. If he would have stuck to that and not been, a, you know what, it, it would have been a lot better. How was he going to get it in? He fired the lawyer. He didn't even bring up insanity once. I don't think he was going to try to get an insanity deal because to him, he didn't do nothing wrong. He flat out said yesterday in his closing that he was and has never been a murderer. Well, Mr. Brooks, today you are a murderer. And you are seen as a murderer by the court. Frank says, "Did you notice that he was County Orange jump?" Yes. So when they first brought him in today, he was in the orange jumpsuit, and then they let him go back and change into his suit and tie. He's crazy. Yes. Absolutely, Pam. And he showed his anger. Exactly. Oh, he had already been seen by 4 different doctors and was declared sane. Yep. There you go. All right. I am going to play this video for you. I'm going to mute myself because everybody says that when I play a video, it's real echoey. So let me share my screen here. We're going to do a test and then I'll play it from start. All right. Let me make sure my volume's turned up here.
Everyone can have a seat, and then we'll just wait for the door to close.
So how is the volume? Is it echoey while I'm still on here?
I'm curious.
Oh yes, I'm curious.
Some of these judging by the reports.
How is the sound on the video, guys?
How are some of these answers allowed to pass when they're coming straight from reports made by the people on the stand? Very curious.
I don't understand your question. I'm not sure what you're asking me.
What I'm asking is, reading from the report that the people on the stand are giving, the report that they gave to law enforcement.
If you're asking me whether there's a mechanism in the rules of evidence and how to establish that before the jury, the answer to that is yes. If you're asking me how you do that, I'm not going to answer that.
I didn't ask how. To be blunt, which I've been since the beginning of this trial, obviously, I see the whole strategy here by the prosecution. I see right through it. Don't have any cross examination mainly because you've already schooled the people getting on the stand on how to answer certain things.
Well, that is completely speculative on your part without
It's
any
obvious.
basis in law or
It's
fact.
obvious.
Sir, you could ask questions that establish that. You can ask them if they've met with anyone. You haven't done that. So for you to say that right now is without basis. If you want to,
It's clear.
if you are looking to elicit what they said in the report, there is a way under the rules of evidence based upon the way the witnesses have answered to clarify that. But that requires you to call certain witnesses. I'm not going to give you any more legal advice further than that.
I don't think I have to
So
call any other witnesses that's
if
not
you're
on the
asking me to
stand.
strike their testimony based on your
I didn't say
perceived,
anything
then that's,
about that.
all right, then I'm going to bring the jury back out and you're going to call your next witness. So I'm
So
not
is you-
hearing a request from you at this time. You said you wanted to raise a legal issue. What's the legal issue?
The legal issue is how is the state allowed to coach the
You're
people getting on the
assuming they
stand?
spoke to them and coached them.
It's obvious. I'm not stupid.
Well, I disagree with that, sir. Again, you could ask
All of a
questions to
sudden-
lay a
All of a
foundation.
sudden, the
with
state
these
don't got.
witnesses.
All of a sudden, for the first time in trial, all of a sudden now they don't got no cross. That's clearly a rush to try to get through the case. Hurry up. We just gonna let these people go.
Well, this is
and not-
argument.
Come on, man.
This is argument on your part,
I
sir.
see
It
through
is
it.
pure
I just
commentary
want
at this
that on the
point.
record. I see through it,
And your
Nice try.
see-through
but I see through it.
has absolutely no basis in
Well,
fact.
I know that's what's being done.
You
Come
could
on, man.
ask these questions, you could
Come on,
ask
man.
these
You got the right
witnesses
one.
certain questions and
I'm
you're
far,
not.
far from an idiot.
They're your witnesses, sir. If you believe.
So I'm gonna start asking every witness up here that they seem just to mysteriously now not have any cross for. Have they been coached to answer the way they answer? Because
Well, you can't
I
ask
find-
that, but
I
you can
find
ask
it
them
very
if they've
funny.
met with anyone ahead of
I
their
find it
testimony
very
here
funny.
today,
I find
which
it
you've
very
done
funny.
with other witnesses.
I find it very funny that these are their reports, and now all of a sudden you can. Oh, I saw the person in the car. Oh, but
Mr. Brooks,
I
this
saw
is
them
an
reach for
attempt by
something.
you
Oh,
to
I don't.
delay these
I don't recall what
proceedings.
they had on.
Mr. Brooks,
You can
there's no
recall seeing
purpose
somebody
for you
reach for
saying
something
this
and
right
don't
now.
know what they had on. I find that
All right,
very.
I'm having the jury
Come on,
brought
man.
out. I'm instructing you to
Come on,
avoid
man.
the commentary when the jury comes out, or you will
I didn't
forfeit
say-
your right to be
I didn't say
present.
nothing.
Before we do that, there's a issue that we do need to pick up potential as to a witness by the name of Abel Lescano. He has prior criminal history.
Thank you.
So as long as the jury's out, we should probably discuss that. I would like to provide the defendant and the court with a copy.
So that had
of
to be
the-
said. So it's the defendant.
That's not how it was said. I
That was how I
completely
said. You want to run the
disagree.
record back?
Mr. Brooks,
So I'm the only one. I got one. I
Mr.
got one
Brooks.
ear that work, and I heard that.
this
Come on,
is
man.
to benefit
man.
you so
No,
that
it's
you
not.
understand
Ain't none of this
your
to benefit me.
witness
So let's
has
be
a
clear about
prior
that.
record.
Your Honor, when I leave the table, I'm away from the courtroom and I have to elevate my voice. This is the
So she had to
alleged
elevate her
record
voice
of Abel
just for
Lescano.
that.
Stop
Come on,
talking.
Come on, man. Like I don't know who y'all be thinking y'all fooling. I set for value, return for value. This document.
One more interruption and you're going to be removed to the next
That's
courtroom.
what you want to do anyway.
It's not what I want to do. Do not interrupt Attorney Opper.
So can
Your
you
Honor,
tell?
I
can you
believe he
explain-
has 7 prior criminal convictions via OWI second from 1997, and OWI third from 1997, and OWI fourth from 2003.
I didn't unmute. Here I was talking. This is awful. Did you hear him hit the desk? And now that look, he is staring down that judge. I would have been afraid.
Criminal trespass to dwelling from 2006.
All right, I need to take a break. This man right now is having a stare down with me. It's very disrespectful. He pounded his fist. Frankly, it makes me scared. And we're taking a break.
I don't blame her one bit. To have those eyes trained on you and to know that he drove his car through a parade route and didn't care. What's to say he wouldn't have jumped up right there and went after her? I think that was the best move she made at that time, was to get out of there for 5-10 minutes. That was crazy. Yes, I think the prosecutor did want to slap him. I think that they all did at times. Oh, yes. Yeah, he tells her, you need to do your job. She has been doing her job the whole time. You don't know the law. I'm so glad that he can't hurt anybody else. So glad. And I'm glad that he'll never get out of jail. Yeah, and he didn't like that fact when they brought that up. Is that why the media didn't get a hold of that right away, Polly? Is because he wasn't registered in Wisconsin? Yeah, a lot of people would have felt guilt if they had killed people and hurt children. Not him. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm pretty sure he probably was. I don't remember if that came up in the trial or not. But if he's not on drugs and this is just him, that makes it even worse. That makes it even worse. So, like I said, that community is never going to be the same. You know, those kids and those people. I mean, you got to think about it. He hit kids, he hit adults. It didn't matter who you were or where you were. He was swerving through, and he had a woman on the hood of his car, and she finally fell off, and then he ran her over. They said in the video that they showed, you could see the SUV heaving as he ran over people. He didn't care one bit. He was on drugs. I agree with you, Stacy. He should have been taking his meds. Well, obviously, he's not taking them now either. Yeah, that one mother had 4 children seriously injured. I just don't understand. I mean, okay, is it the upbringing? Is it the way he was brought up? Was it, we still don't know why, besides the fact that he was running away from the police because he had just hit his girlfriend. How could you enter a parade route and see a street right there that you could turn off of and just continue driving down the parade route? and then make a mockery of it in your closing statement and say this is all about the families who are hurting and who need to heal and crying and then talking about poor me. And I mean, I don't get it. They said he was on nothing in the jail. Some people are just evil. Nature versus nurture or both. Yeah. Well, I agree with the comment that the gentleman made after the second verdict was read. He can rot. He deserves to. It's in situations like this where I wish Wisconsin had the death penalty. I really do. But we don't. So instead, maybe he's going to get a higher justice in jail. I don't know. We'll find out. Because I'm sure they'll report on it. Yeah, you got that right, Stacy and Grizz. Well, everyone, there's another trial down. Like I said, I'm glad it was quick for the family so that they can try to heal from this. From the kids that were, oh, those poor kids have to live with this every day. Now it won't be in the news all the time. I'm sure a lot of them have PTSD over the situation. A lot of families that were just on the sidewalk do. They couldn't find there was mothers and fathers that couldn't find their kids for an hour afterwards. They didn't know if they were on the street laying somewhere or where they were. But I forgot to put it in the description. I'll put it in there in just a minute after I'm done here. Yeah. And how could you lower somebody's bail after they just beat up their girlfriend? I don't get it. I just don't get it. When you have multiple offenses, why are we giving these people a break? Why? So that they can go out and do things like this? It's obvious that he's got some mental issues. It's obvious that he has rage issues against women. I mean, that video that I just played absolutely shows that. He does not respect women. He does not even respect his own mother. Yeah, shoes, strollers everywhere. It was awful. Well, everyone, thank you for joining me. Let me get this out. Like I said, I'm 3 hours north of that, and it affected my family deeply. Not just the community of Waukesha. And I'm sure that there was other community that was affected by this. From the other schools that went to this band competition that Waukesha holds every year. There is a video out there showing or showing and telling you how to get our merchandise now. So if you haven't seen it, go and look at it. I will put it in the description of this video as soon as I'm done here. That's one of the next videos I'm going to be doing. Ethan Crumbly from Michigan. There have been a lot of things happening this week, and I think we're going to just do a rundown of the weekly stories because there's been so many. Yeah, all the states need tougher laws on this. Yes, I will talk to Andrea about that, Stephanie, right after this. So, thank you all for joining me tonight. As you can see, Frank and I are kind of dividing and conquering, and then we'll come together and do lives too, but we're trying to get more content out to you guys. So this has been a test run for us this week. I think so far we're doing okay, and it's just going to continue to grow. And yes, we will get back to Delphi, but not a lot is happening right now on the Delphi case. So there's a lot of different cases and things that we want to talk to you and bring out. So with that being said, I hope everyone has a good night. We love you. We appreciate your support. And as we say, peace, one love. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.